Okay, who's your ex-girlfriend?
That was Olivia at the time. That was
And
when I was
why?
divorced and lost which is my baby mother.
I just want to ask
And
you this. Why would she say that you were at Motel 6 waiting on some drugs?
Nothing good can come from waiting at Motel 6 for some, well, I can't really say it here on YouTube right now, but before we watch this Louisiana parole revocation hearing, we are going to watch a different revocation hearing. I'm basically switching up the orders, but we will come back to this man and let's just jump in.
Mr. Jackson, your case is assigned to it's Mr. Tillis. It's Mr. Chuck Tillis to my left will be doing the questioning and handle your hearing. We're all familiar with it, but he's the most familiar with it because he's been studying it most of the night. So, Mr. Tillis, go ahead.
How you doing, Mr. Jackson?
good morning, sir. Good morning.
You okay?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna be okay. God got me. I'm gonna be okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just so much going on in my life right now. I just been going through this all my life, and I just need a chance. I was doing really good, and I had a stroke, and I couldn't get to work and pay my rents and stuff, and I ended up having to get evicted. And what had happened was that I had to report to my parole officer also. And when I first came home in '95, I had to pay like $1,000 or something to live in a certain area. And I was just trying. I was trying. If I wouldn't have had I still went back to work after I had a stroke. I have an 8-year-old. Her mother got addicted to oxycodone. I had to be the mother and the father. I did what I could. I worked. My parole officer could tell you, I was just a working man. Every day I did whatever I could, work and do hard jobs. I just need a break. I promise you. I understand now that, you know what I'm saying, if I never changed my mindset, I'll still be that same man. I'm not that man that went to prison in '95. I came home in my mindset, I have a new mind. And I understand that, in order for me to make it, I can't run with chickens and expect to soar with eagles. I have to change my mindset. And since I've been here, I know you just asked me one question, but I've achieved. I just just don't want to lay back there in that crazy place. But I've achieved from the MOVE program. It's an organization that helps offenders. Once they're released. I have an 8-year-old, and she's with my fiance's cousin because, like I said, she's on oxycodone, and so I just been doing things on my own, trying to make it. I promise y'all, if y'all let me out of this place, let me go back and just help raise my daughter and be a parent. I promise you that if I ever come back, if you ever see me again, just dig a hole and put me in it, because
Hey, could you ask the lieutenant to come forward, please?
Lieutenant.
Yes, what can you tell us about Mr. Jackson? How has he been since he's been incarcerated there?
Unfortunately, I can't tell you anything about him. This is when I went to the back and got him to bring him up here for this is the first interaction I've ever had with him.
Okay, all right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Jackson, we're going to read a violation that you did, and you can plead guilty, not guilty, or with a statement.
Yes, sir.
Violation 4, it is alleged the subject violated this condition in that on 6/29/2025, he was arrested by the Baton Rouge Police Department for domestic abuse battery with a dangerous weapon. On 7/2/2025, the defendant deferred his preliminary hearing and final revocation hearing until resolutions of his pending charges. The bill of information from the 19 Judiciary Court under East Baton Rouge Parish domestic abuse battery with a dangerous weapon. On 9/23/2025, the offender pled guilty to the 19 to these charges. How do you plead on this?
I guilty with a statement, sir. Guilty with a statement.
Tell us what happened.
Okay, I told you I had gotten evicted, so I had to come up with like over maybe $1,000 or maybe close to $1,000 so that I wouldn't violate my parole. So I had gotten that money to my parole office. And the lady that I was helping, because she had had a stroke, one day she asked me to come and cut her grass. And I went cut her grass, and we started to talk. And I told her my situation. And, I took my little girl to visit her. And she said that I could live with her if I would help her with, chores and stuff and a compensation around the house, around her house. Okay. And so I had nowhere else kind of like to go. And I didn't want to, fall back. And I couldn't just drag my little girl through the streets. South Baton Rouge is not a very good, place for that. And so what I did is I'm kind of like was living with her. I'll get off from work. I'll come to her house and, I'll just, do whatever needs to be done, like clean and cut grass and do, the fence line. But then I think she wanted more than I could give. Wasn't looking for a relationship. So this lady wasn't, uh, a female that, what I'm saying, I was trying to, hit up on for a relationship or anything like that. And so one particular day, she just started building cases on me, saying, that I wasn't doing enough and stuff like that. And so what happened is that I came there one day and I was telling her that I was just going to move on and I appreciated everything she done. Then she said I wasn't going to go anywhere. So then I'm stuck in the middle of a rock and a hard place now. I didn't know what she expected. I think the relationship she wanted from me, I wasn't willing to give because she's a much older, kind of like older lady than I was. I'm about to be 60 in a few days. She's already like 70 or 80 something. And so I try to explain that and she sprayed some mace on me and, was fussing at me and we started wrestling over a pot. I didn't have any kind of, gun or knife or anything. And, we was wrestling over it. And then she just said, well, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to precinct. The precinct is right down the street. And when she went to the precinct, they came, I sat on her doorstep outside her residence. And when they came, they just they were yelling and you wanna hit somebody, and I was trying to explain myself. So they took me to the precinct and then they jailed me. And that was it. I was trying to tell them. That's the reason I waited here because
How long have you been in jail?
I came here, sir, June 29th. I want to say this since I've been here. I don't know if you can see this, but my mindset is not what it used to be. I'm just trying to do the right thing.
Okay, good. We have a friend here that's going to speak in your behalf too.
Yes, sir.
And her name is Miss Albertha Landry. Would you step up
Good, thank you.
and tell us what you want us to know, Miss Landry? Ms. Landry,
Slander.
Sir?
You want
you
to
want to
speak?
speak on his behalf as a friend?
Yes, sir.
Would you step to the podium and tell us what you want to tell us?
So right there, so.
Yeah,
Backside.
backside and face.
Look at us.
Look, go behind it.
Could you tell her I'm so sorry about what happened? I'm just,
That's
Okay,
good,
okay,
that's
okay.
good,
Let's
that's good.
hear from her.
Here, you can face us, Ms. Landry, and tell us what you want to know.
Turn this way.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Anthony Jackson is a good man. He was, we engaged, we got two and a half years, and we was living together. He was living with me. He used to help me do whatever, and I used to help him and his little girl. And we was taking care of each other after he moved in with me. And he's just a good man. And I used to take him to the doctor, take him to his classes and everything. His parole officer, after he moved in with me, his parole officer used to come to my house and see him. And when he goes to work, I drop him off at work. I'm 70 years old, and me and his birthday on the same day, November the 24th. He gonna be 60, and I'm gonna be 71. But he is a good man, but he a diabetic too. And when I took him to the hospital, the doctor told him and me, say if he don't take his medicine right, his insulin and the rest of his, his medicine, that he gonna be, like discombobulated and stuff like that, seeing things and all this and that. But he ain't the type of man to jump on no woman. But he just had snap because he wasn't taking his medicine. And I hope y'all take it under consideration to let him come back home with me, because we are going to get married one day.
Okay, thank you.
And I love him, and I know he loves me.
Did he beat you? Did he hit you with a pot?
Huh?
Did he hit you with a pot?
He had that little pot up in his hand. And I know he just pushed me down. And I couldn't remember nothing else after that, because I just seen the little pot up in his hand.
But you had the probation officer took pictures. You had two swollen black eyes. So he hit you. Okay, no further questions.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Very much.
Thank you. You can sit down now. Are there any other questions? I'm ready to vote.
Okay, no questions, so take a vote now.
My vote is going to be to deny.
My vote is to revoke. It's quite obviously that you hit this lady, so you violated your parole. My vote is to vote. To revoke.
Because of.
Condition number 4.
Number 4, condition number 4.
Okay, you have 2 votes to revoke, and likewise, I would vote the same way. So you have three votes to be revoked because of violation of rule number 4, criminal conduct. And so anyway, I'm sorry to tell you, but as of 10:34 this morning, your parole has been revoked.
Frankly, what would be a revocation hearing without Tillis screwing it up in his final verdict? I don't know. Anyways, it's interesting. I gotta tell you, I had mixed feelings on the music, because and we're gonna go watch the next hearing, but the reason that I still added it is because I do believe that his crying was manipulative. I don't believe it was authentic. The bottom line is he beat this woman, gave her 2 black eyes, hit her with a frying pan. They need to protect her from him, and maybe even him from himself. And when I was watching this hearing, and Mr. Annan, thank you again, Mr. Annan, for recommending we cover this. My daughter walked into the room and just all she saw was a man crying, and she said, "What's wrong?" And It is emotional the first time I saw it, and I think it pulls on the heartstrings. And if I didn't say that, it didn't. And this is the kind of the difference. The Mandoo a couple years ago would have looked to find every which way to feel for him, and I'm jaded now. Just what causes someone to beat up a woman in her 70s or mid 70, eight, like to two black and blue eyes, and then she comes here pleading for him to get out, and there's it's just you can't let yourself fall for what I think was the manipulation in the crying there. I think Amber Heard could take lessons from him. I think he did a good job in faking, but I don't I don't know if it was authentic. Now, also, let's be real, we don't have context. I don't know how much time he's backing. I don't know what his record was up until then. I don't know what his ultimate punishment kind of going to be. And without that context, it is definitely very difficult. But the bottom line is that he beat up a 70, 80 plus year old woman. I'm not quite sure. He didn't seem to know. She seemed to be, doing quite well for herself. But you're gonna, you know, that's just he could have gotten a lot of other additional charges on that, and whatever it may be. So I don't know. We're gonna go jump into another hearing. I'll tell you, this is the tattoo neck guy hearing, and the jail. It's really hard to hear what he's saying. So a little bit of a problem, but still, I think an interesting hearing with his grandfather pointing a shotgun at him or something. Anyways, let's jump in.
Michael Chase Red.
Ain't the room.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can put that out.
Okay, let's see if we can hear. Now, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, Mr. Red, you pled not guilty to violation number 3. Violation number 8, it is alleged that the parolee has failed to report supervising office making drug screens impossible. How do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
No, sir. Before I had lost my way of travel, my vehicle and stuff, I had went, and every time that I had went and reported, I had took up drug screening. So after I had lost my way of travel to get to the office, that is when I was no longer able to report to give drug screenings.
Okay, are you still using drugs?
No, sir.
Why did your grandfather shoot at you?
We had an altercation the night before over the phone. I was living at the residence and I was with my wife. She's from Oklahoma, and we had a newborn baby. He was just born September 22nd. And some things had transpired, and the next day I went over there to speak with my grandmother, which is my blood relative. He is my step grandpa. And when he came off the steps in an aggressive manner. So when I had stepped back and I told him just stay right there and no, don't come any closer, he pulled out the gun, he racked one in the head and he aimed the gun. When he aimed the gun, my baby mother stepped in front of the gun. And then my grandmother pulled his arm and said, no, she's pregnant, don't do that. And so he kept cussing and screaming and hollering, telling me how I'm just a dope head and all that. And at that time, sir, I wasn't doing no drugs. I had been reporting, I had been doing everything that I was supposed to do.
Okay. It is alleged that the parolee moved from the listed resident, which is making home visits impossible. So you moved from that's your grandfather's residence?
Yes, sir. And I had moved to Motel 6 from there. BPSO had helped me get all of my stuff. And they had helped me load it into my car and stuff.
Okay.
And then I had left and advised Mr. co-parents about me moving.
Rule number 10, it is alleged that the parolee owes $315 in the arrear. How do you plead to that?
Yes, sir. After I had lost my job and like I said, like lost my place to live and everything, living in Motel 6, I was no longer able to pay.
Okay, okay. So you're not working? You don't have any work?
No, sir, I didn't have no work at the time. I had became homeless again. I had lost the room at Motel 6. I had lost my car. Somebody had stole my phone. And then when I became homeless again, I did fall back into around the wrong crowds. But that was only because I didn't have nowhere to go or have nowhere to sleep. And I didn't have nobody to provide for me at that time. So I was trying to do everything I could just to survive.
And you don't have a place to stay?
No, sir. I was gonna go to 3020 Legion Street in Lake Charles to the Salvation Army. They said that they give me 30 days to stay there. And if I get a job, then they put an extension for another 30 days to 2 months. But my wife with my newborn baby lives in Oklahoma. And she does have a residence in Oklahoma.
Okay, okay. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I do. Okay, who's your ex-girlfriend?
That was Olivia at the time. That was when I was
Why?
homeless and had lost which is my baby mother.
I just want to ask you this. Why would she say that you at Motel 6 waiting on some drugs?
I don't know. That's just what she thought I was doing at the time. She thought when I was still working at Motel 6, she thought that I was trying to do drugs or use drugs, but at that time I wasn't using any drugs. She just was going off her own understanding of my past. And she even told me that when she got mad that she had told my parole officer a bunch of stuff that she didn't really mean and stuff like that.
Okay. I have no further questions.
I don't have any questions.
Yeah,
Okay, we have a vote, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I'm gonna go on and vote first instead of, Mr. Tillis, my vote's gonna be that I am gonna, in lieu of revocation, I'm gonna send you to work release. You
Yes, sir.
go earn some money.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Don't spend it on commissary. When they get you in a job, put your money in the bank. All
Yes,
right?
sir.
So that is gonna be my vote today, in lieu of revocation, that you do 6 months in work release.
Yes, sir.
and I concur with Mr. Freeman.
And I concur also and strongly suggest that a lot of places with work release have AA and NA possibilities. You gotta get some help with your substance abuse problem. Okay, in addition to making some money, because I believe that's the root of your problem. So we wish you well. You're not gonna be revoked. In lieu of revocation, you're going to work release for 6 months. So we'll see how that works out. All right, the time is 12:51. That's the end of this hearing. And we're gonna see if we can do something better for the next hearing.
Yes, sir.
In lieu of revocation, send him to a work release program. And guys, I have a hunch that we are going to see him again. So make sure we check out the return of playlist. That is, of course, the playlist where we keep track of inmates as they go through the system. I know it sounds real harsh to me, but we've seen this play out so many times. Will violate on work release, and then they basically have a rescission hearing where they basically provoke him from the work release program. So I do think we're going to see him again. I'm not 100% sure what happened. I think that the grandfather pointed a shotgun at him, but I don't actually, I have no idea. Let's be real. I have no idea. It's just it was such an interesting optic scene that I wanted to include it. So I did. Now we're about to see another hearing, another revocation hearing for a young lady. I don't know if it's her. I'm gonna have to see from the hearing, but there was someone with the same exact name who in 2016 was arrested for monetary instrument abuse, 26 counts, forgery, felony theft, issuing worthless checks, and attempted bank fraud. Again, this is 2016. I don't know if it's the same person. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Just throwing it out there. Tillis is leading the case, so I'm going to 2x speed his introduction. If you feel that you need a 3x or 4x it, go for it. Now, with that, let's jump in.
You're in violation of rule number 4. On or about, my screen stopped. Okay, on or about 8/26/2025, you were engaged in criminal activity in the commission of a violation of protective order. And this is evident by the affidavit or arrest warrant that was filed in Baton Rouge at the Baton Rouge Police Department under number 25-01877. You were arrested on 9/5/2025 by the Baton Rouge Police Department. Due to the arrest warrant, on or about 9/8/2025, you are able to bond out of jail with a notice of probation and parole for being in violation of supervision. Thus, at the time the parole warrant was filed and issued on 9/16/2025, you subsequently remained in court on a said parole warrant on 9/30/2025. This listed offense is pending in the 19th Judiciary under docket J25-0006497 on 10/8/2025. The District Attorney's Office bill misspelled under docket DC 25-04726 for violation of protective order classified as misdemeanor. The matter remains pending in the 19th Judiciary status. How do you plead to that, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty, sir.
With the statement,
Yes, sir. The incident that is reflected in that document, there's no other way to say it simply didn't happen. I did not violate the protective order. The person I have the protective order, well, that has it against me, our children go to the same school. I did see her on that date, but no words were exchanged. Nothing happened. I picked my daughter up from school and I took her home. I believe I have family there that is willing to speak on my behalf. They were with me on the date of this incident. It was an open house at the school, and I went there. I met my daughter's teacher. I left with my family. I was there with my older daughter, my child's father, and my father. I did not have any interaction with that person. And I'm not sure why she would have a police report drawn up for that, but I wasn't even arrested on that date. I was remanded at court when I was being taken off probation. The judge for my probation decided not to even hold me because he didn't think that the validity of the complaint was valid. But that just didn't happen, sir.
did you take any pictures of her or that while you?
I did not take any pictures. I had no interaction with her whatsoever.
Okay, you didn't put them on FaceTime or anything?
No, sir.
We have with us today, speaking in your behalf, is Mr. Clifton Bells, your father, your dad. Mr. Bells, would you like to go before the podium and tell us?
Yes, I was.
Would you stand behind the podium and tell us what you want us to know?
Yes, I am Clifton Bell, the father of Melanie Bell, and I was president at school meeting. And as a matter of fact, my granddaughter and my other granddaughter's dad was there. And we went to open house at the school. And as we left out of there, I didn't even see her. I didn't see Miss Jones or whatever it is. And we left out there and left out the parking lot. And I think Melanie told me she did see her there, but that was all. I didn't witness nothing. And I told her, I talked to her. Melanie is, presently helping me. Like I said, I'm an elderly gentleman. I'm sick. I lost my wife in April last year, and I'm raising 2 girls. These two, right? This one and one that's 9 years old. We were all at the school over there. Nothing transpired. And I know the people over there. I could have probably went over there and talked to them and maybe got something from them and asked them why this happened. Because nothing happened there at the school. And I don't know how this came about. I was shocked too because I brought her up here for the probationary hearing. And when she went upstairs, I was sitting out in the car because it was supposed to walk in and walk out because she's been to every avenue that was designed for when she came out of probation. She went to school, I mean, she went to a drug school. And she went to something else, trying to get straight, because she had to raise these two girls. I'm sick. And like I said, I'm learning how to be a housewife by myself with two girls washing and taking care of it. And she's home with me, helping me. And this is, I mean, this is ridiculous what this girl did. Again, like I said, it did not happen. And I did not do this. I know of her.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. We appreciate your statement. Kevin Leedy,
Yes, sir.
you want to speak now?
It was Kevin Levy, and I was there also at the school open house. We sat there, we met the teacher and everything. I did see Miss Jones pass by the classroom. They did not. I didn't say it. Once we got out the classroom, they were down the way. They looked, we looked, we went the other way, we left. Melanie left with her father and her daughter. My daughter came with me to go play. We both went our separate ways. I've seen no altercation, no words were exchanged, nothing happened of that nature.
Thank you so much.
Wait, I got a question. Did you see the pictures on Facebook? Were there any pictures on Facebook to your knowledge?
Instagram.
Instagram.
I'll send no pictures.
Instagram's the one that goes away.
No, Snapchat.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, sir. No, not of him. I do of her.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions. One, I was reading the affidavit for the arrest warrant, and the Baton Rouge police officer says that she, after reviewing the details of the investigation, which included the officer's report, the victim's statement, and reviewing the evidence provided, which showed the defendant, that's you, on the school campus, as well as pictures of the victim and her daughters posted on your social media Instagram account. It's believed probable cause exists. The officer saw some pictures, the pictures of the quote victim and her daughters on your Instagram account.
That's not possible. I've been logged out of my Instagram account. These people, I have a history with. When I was incarcerated last year, they had my cell phone. They actually stole a ton of my stuff, and this is where this stemmed from, sir. So I haven't had access to my Instagram or my Facebook since last year. I actually created an entirely new one. So there couldn't have been any post that was made from my Instagram account or my Facebook because I'm locked out of them. I can't get into them. I have a new Facebook account and I haven't even created a new Instagram account. So that couldn't have possibly happened. There's no possible way. And when they issued this warrant, my address is on the protective order. No police officer was dispatched to my house to arrest me. No one came to question me. I was remanded at court. The first time I was remanded at court was when they told me there was an arrest warrant. I sat for 3 hours until they actually got the warrant and put me in jail. I was able to bond out on that. And when I went back to court on the 30th, that's when they arrested me again for violation of my parole. So I had no idea that there was nothing to post on Instagram or Facebook. I had no interaction with these people. I did see her, but when we saw her, we left. We actually left the open house early. I left with my dad, my baby's father, and my daughter. I had zero interaction with this woman, and I have no idea why they continue to try and deflect on my character or try to keep me in jail. But the only thing that I can think of is because they stole my furniture and they want to keep me in jail. I have a civil suit against these people, and we were supposed to go to court on November 17th. They deferred that till January 16th, and I'm supposed to go to this civil suit with them. The protective order, the judge ordered, it ends on December 14th. It was issued in June for 6 months.
Okay. And what was the outcome of violating protective order?
They actually have affidavits from 2 of the secretaries at the school stating that there was no altercation. As far as my lawyer has told me, on December 3rd, when I go to the hearing for this, those charges are going to be dismissed for violating the protective order, but we won't know until we go on December 3rd.
Okay. And tell me about the Grove. That's in our report here, that you were discharged from the Grove Recovery Center. Tell me about.
When I originally got out of jail, I was on a treatment bond. I went to the Grove and did 28 days in their residential treatment program. And then I did 3 months of IOP. I completed that. And 2 days after I completed IOP, I was arrested again. But I completed the entire treatment recovery program at the Grove.
Okay. And are you using any kind of substance now, or?
No, and I've been drug tested faithfully. I've been drug tested every week by the Grove up until the week that I went to jail, and I passed all drug tests clean, and I'm clean of any substances right now, sir.
Well, congratulations. I hope you maintain that particular record.
I plan to, sir. I have 2 young children. My dad's 77 years old, and after losing my mom last year, he's been raising my 2 girls. My 9-year-old got on the phone with me yesterday, and she told me, she wants me to come home. And, she said, every time I tell her that I'm coming home, it's longer and longer that I don't come home. But I'm explaining to you, sir, I had no interaction with this woman. I did not violate that protective order. I wouldn't do that to my children, and I wouldn't risk my freedom.
Okay.
I'm ready to vote.
Steve,
I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I was trying to look through all the reports. There is no pictures, and I think there should have been some pictures in our file if she posted that. There definitely should have been some pictures in our file if they were posted.
My
Yeah.
vote is to do not revoke.
My vote is to do not revoke, but I'm gonna reiterate, as a condition of your parole, you stay away from this lady until you're off supervision.
I will. I'm
And
actually.
you gotta go to school,
I'm
understand?
gonna pull my daughter out of that school. There's another school like in our neighborhood that she can go to. I'm gonna enroll her in that school so that I don't have any.
Okay, well, I'm just telling you, don't have any contact with her. Do what you say. If you see her, turn around and walk away. Just wait till vote. Okay, so I also vote do not revoke.
Okay. You got 2 votes to do not revoke, and that's all it takes. So you're not going to be revoked. And mine would be also do not revoke. But if in December you're found guilty of having violated this order, I'd like it to come back up before us.
It can't, we would have to continue it. You'd have to continue it now to wait for that. Because we already got the violations charged.
Sir,
Continue.
I'm pretty sure.
Hold up, please.
Okay, all right. We got 2 votes to do not revoke, and I will concur with their decision, and I would like to be notified. I'll ask probation and parole to notify me about the results of this particular hearing. So as of today at 10:58, you are not revoked. Yeah, and so we'll sign the proper paperwork and all of that. Continue to, I encourage you and we'll pray that you continue to be off of any kind of substance and stay away from these folks. They're going to try to catch you tripping up. And so stay away from them, but you know that already without me having to tell you. So as of today, your parole has not been revoked at 10:59. Thank you. Thank you, East Baton Rouge. I think that's all we've got with you.
All right, this was also confusing to me, but it did seem she was talking very confidently. Her supporters were talking confidently, and maybe the evidence didn't exactly match up. And thankfully, Annan, who recommended these hearings, also put in some notes. And in a nutshell, it seemed that she was violating protective order, which you don't have much context on, and that she was involved in a counter at school. She and her family claimed that nothing happened. Police say that their images of the victim were posted on her social media, which she denied. She said she doesn't even have access to those accounts, which, look, we've heard those excuses many times before. So I don't know how much meat you can put on that, but pictures were not included in the document submitted to the parole board. So they didn't have the evidence. And had maybe there been a little bit more context for them to revoke her, they would have, but they just didn't have it. And it seemed to be like a he said, she said drama fest. And I thought she spoke quite well for herself and very adamantly. And, it's like there are those who don't really speak adamantly, and then it's just like the truth always has a certain feel to it. Of course, there are expert liars um that can sound that way, but I think it was the right move. I'm happy they made that move, and it's just weird. It's just like so much drama going on. But talking about drama, we're about to see a hearing that is loaded with it. It is. We're going out with a bang on this one, okay? So buckle up and let's go.
Well, you're here, we have six different, conditions that you're accused of violating. And we need to talk to you about those conditions, and so I'll be the one talking to you about them. And I understand you refused to participate in the hearing that you had, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
But you're going to participate in this hearing, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The first one is that you failed to report on certain days to your parole office. And is that true? I'll read some of the dates: 2/10, 5/6, 7/17, 7/21, 8/4, and 8/20, all in 2025. Did you refuse not show up for those dates?
Sir, it wasn't really a refusal because some of the dates I did show up, but I showed up late. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here now on my first warrant ever that my parole officer ever had to put a warrant out for me now because I missed August. That one I did not contact in August.
Okay. All right, so some of those dates you showed up, but you were late, but some of them you didn't show up, correct? Is that what I'm hearing you say? Okay, we can hear you now. We're having trouble because you're frozen. I don't know if you can hear me. All right, we're gonna try it now. My question to you was some of these, can you? Okay, my question was, did you show up some of these days late? And did you not show up to some of the days?
I showed up to all of the days late except for August when she had to put the warrant out for me. Except August, I did not show up at all, not even late.
How come you didn't show up in August?
I was fresh. I don't know if y'all was informed of it, but since I've been on the parole for 2 years, I only had one tech, a 3-day tech, and I seen her soon as I got out on that 3-day tech in July. I seen her in the office and a home visit for that month. So I didn't know whether I had a home visit or I had to go see her in the office in August. Because I did both in July when I was released off a 3-day tech, the only tech I ever was given on parole in 2 years that I've been on parole.
Okay. Let's see. It said that you failed to provide proof of employment. That's condition number 6. Did you do that?
Yes, sir. I did. I did not have a job. I actually was in the process of filing for disabilities.
Okay. All right. So you're actually saying that happened. Number 9, they said they came by your place on 8/6 and 8/11 of 2025 to find you, and they couldn't find you. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Where were you?
I wasn't home. I can't lie to you and tell you where I was or where I wasn't because I don't remember those days, but I wasn't home. I was not home, sir.
Okay. And it says that you failed to complete your domestic violence training as the domestic prevention training that you were ordered to do. Is that correct or not? Did you do the domestic violence training?
No, sir. But from my understanding, my parole officer told me that the parole board acknowledged me that I complete the domestic violence class before I be released off probation and parole. So I didn't know, like, it was a certain time for me to start and finish because she acknowledged me that, and that's the same thing with my payments. They both must be completed. Those two things was my payments and the domestic violence class. She said those must be completed before I get off parole. So that was my understanding, sir.
I'm reading the notes here. Go ahead, Mr.
Okay.
Freeman.
I'm gonna ask you a question. When you were arrested, why did they also charge you with carrying a concealed weapon? What was that about?
When that was,
When they arrested you for a domestic abuse assault?
I have no pending charges and I have no charges as of today.
Yeah, I understand that. But
Yes,
when they
sir.
arrested you for the domestic violence, was there a gun involved?
No, sir. This wasn't a case that was dismissed or anything. This was a case that was actually beaten in court and thrown away, period, because they had to get an
trial. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, I just wanted to know.
wasn't mine. I never seen it. They said it was a lie, and a lawyer proved that it was all a lie. And my probation officer was informed and was there to know that.
Okay.
Okay, do you owe, let's talk about number 10. How do you owe $1,197?
Probation.
Yes.
Probation. Yes, sir, I do. And for my acknowledgement from my parole term, that has to be paid before I complete parole.
I don't think that it's like a bill that I think you got to pay monthly, don't you?
If now that you're saying it, yes, sir. That's from she come talk to me since I've been here these 60 days, and she did tell me that the first time she come see me, she told me that. Yes, sir.
Because you told them one time you weren't paying it because you ran out of envelopes, right?
That was at the beginning of my parole, like in 2024, 23. I've been on probation for like 2 years. Like the only reason I believe my parole officer like hadn't violated me all these previous times that you're hearing about and put warrants out for me or anything for those things, because she understood when I first came home, I had a child, and now my child is like 11 years old, so it was kind of hard for me. That's why I haven't had a job or anything, because I've been there for him. And the mother of the child, she's the one, going to school and stuff. So I've been there for the child. My probation officer and parole officer knows that. That's why I never had a warrant or anything text given to me or anything, because she knew my situation. Like this time, I really like forced her hand in August because she couldn't either report or she didn't hear from me. So I forced her hand in August to put a warrant out for me, actually, sir. If that answered your question, sir. I'm sorry if I spoke too much, too.
Okay, what about a drug screen? Did you refuse to take a drug screen one time?
Yes, sir, I did. Yes, sir, I did.
Why did you refuse that?
Because I've been on probation and parole. I'm sorry about this, my third time telling you, but I've been on probation and parole for 2 years, and I only failed one drug screen, and all the others I passed in 2 years. So that's 20 months, or however much months it is. I only failed one drug screen, and on that day, I refused because I had the arm bracelet on and everything. I come from the hospital. I was burning. I had chlamydia, sir. I couldn't pee. On that specific day that y'all got on there, because there's only 2 times that I failed or had to refuse. I only failed a drug test 1 time on parole, and the other one I had to refuse because I had chlamydia. She even laughed and made a joke about it. Me and my probation officer, Miss Cooper, actually laughed and made a joke about me having chlamydia before I left. She knew that.
So you couldn't pee because you had this STI, this sex disease.
Yeah, it was
So you could, just that one time.
Yes, sir. It should be on paper. Since I've been on probation, I only failed one drug screen, and I refused one. 2 years.
Let's do I'd like a motion for executive session.
I move that we go into executive session.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to go into executive session. We're gonna talk about some procedural matters for just a minute. We'll be right back. The time is 1:10 in the afternoon.
God bless y'all.
Okay, it's 1:13 in the afternoon. Can we have a
I have a
motion?
motion to go back into regular
I
session.
second.
Motion and second to go back into regular session. And since there's no objections, we are now at 1:13 back into regular session with Mr. Gloston to talk about his revocation hearing. Okay, Mr. Gloston, Mr. Freeman, you have a question to ask?
Yeah, I'd like to know, why did you refuse to have your preliminary hearing?
They're muted.
You're muted there, sir.
I had just come to jail, and I was on suicide watch. I was going through so much because I thought I was just doing so good, like staying out of trouble. I was doing the best thing I could do, and that's stay out of trouble. Stay out of trouble. And when I come to jail, I felt like I went crazy. So I actually was on suicide watch, and it's in the jail, it's in their records. I was on suicide watch. So I didn't want to talk to anyone. I felt like I was going crazy.
Okay.
All right. Any questions?
Yeah, one more. You had an office visit. You went in on 2/21/25, and right there, she told you about the domestic violence again. And strongly instructed him to provide verification that he has enrolled in domestic intervention class for next month's office visit. So why didn't you go enroll in that class?
Miss Cooper's supposed to have the receipt for the one time I did. I think that's the month I did go in.
So you started going, but you didn't finish.
Yeah, I didn't finish at all. I couldn't. I tried, but I couldn't.
Tell me why you couldn't.
I couldn't because when I went there, and if Miss Cooper, if she's there with y'all, she can tell y'all, and we discussed it. She actually tried to help me find a new class because I didn't want any conflict. I went to her with the problem as I was supposed to do instead of handling on my own. A guy that I was in there with before my sentence.
I got you. Yeah, that's better than going get in trouble. You're right. Okay. I'll be ready to vote on the panel.
Okay, I'm ready to vote, and it's my case, so, my vote is that we, in lieu of revocation, that we send you to a DOC facility with a domestic violence program, and once you've completed that you be allowed back under supervision.
Yes, sir.
I concur with Mr. Prater, and upon release, I'm gonna add a special condition that you have a curfew from 9 to 6, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I concur with Mr. Prater.
Okay, all right, So you understand, because sometimes it sounds like you hear something and then you craft it the way that it's convenient for you. I've read your reports and there's some, you would be hard to supervise. You gotta quit being hard to supervise. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Do you agree with what I'm saying? Or are you saying it just goes,
No, I totally agree with you, sir, because it could have been worse. Y'all decision could have been differently, and I appreciate y'all, sir. I apologize.
because you have a way of, I start saying pissing somebody off, but you know, you come up with excuses. I wrote down almost 2 pages of excuses that you gave. And I don't want to hear excuses if you ever come back before us. We want you to go to the DOC facility, take this domestic violence prevention training. Even though you were found innocent of those charges, we think there was some smoke there. So you got to take this class, then you get released, and you go on, and you better call, if you have to, set you an alarm and call every morning and talk to your parole officer. Okay?
Yes, sir.
If that's
Yes,
what
sir.
they want to do. Okay, well, that's gonna conclude this hearing then. And the time is 1:17 in the afternoon, and that concludes everything that this board's got today. So we're out of here. So it's 1:18.
And do not revoke. And I wonder if we're going to see him again as well. He doesn't give
All
me the
right.
confidence that we're not. So yeah, we will be keeping track of this hearing. And this guy, like the sheriff said, had a lot of excuses. I don't know. I thank God I cannot say whether or not it could be possible when you're suffering with chlamydia, the way the sheriff talks about it, if that will prevent you from peeing. But his list of excuses, they're quite long. He can't pay his fees because he ran out of envelopes, refused narcotics test because of the, as Prater says, the sex disease. Yeah, being on the unalive watch. I mean, I don't know. Look, let's put it this way. He's been going through it. He's definitely been going through it. So he needs a break. Hopefully hopefully he will do the right thing for himself, because man, he's being punished in every which way. And I said it was going to be the last hearing, but we'll do one more. We'll end it off with one more revocation hearing. So let's jump in.
My name is Danny Gray, 128481.
Okay, and you're there being held because of a violation, a supposed violation, and we want to hear what you got to say about it, of what we call violation of condition number 4, which means you'll stay away from any kind of criminal conduct and that sort of thing, and no drugs, no
Yep.
Illegal alcohol, nothing like that. Okay,
Yes,
you
sir.
understand that? Okay, it says on May the 31st of 2024, you were charged with Schedule 2, 2 times. That's cocaine. Schedule 1, marijuana 1 time, and paraphernalia 1 time. And you pled guilty to that. Is that correct? Have I got that right?
Well, not really. I didn't plead guilty to it, sir. No.
Okay, tell me what you pled to that in court.
Well, my lawyer, he came up. My wife had did a affidavit where she was saying that she was the user of that, you know what I'm saying? And my lawyer come up with it was a plea agreement, but they said they changed that to agreement that said, Gray, if you do this here, you'll go home today. You know what I'm saying? I had been there 18 months during that time, sir. And I said, okay, but I was going to trial with it because I had the affidavit and I know I didn't have it. I know I didn't do it. I stay away from trouble. I've been out here in the streets now about 5-6 years. I stayed up in Angola all them years, didn't get in no trouble. I do not get in trouble, and I do not do drugs. I do not drink. I don't drink and none of that, you know what I'm saying? I stay away from people with that kind of trouble, so I don't, and that's why I told my wife, I said, well, we know we're gonna go to trial with it. I said, cause something funny going on here, you know what I'm saying? But she kept telling me, babe, let me take the charge. I said, no, for what? But you're gonna take a charge for something that I didn't do. And when I seen that on that paper, I told that lawyer, my lawyer, I say, that don't make sense. Make that make sense to me. I say it's 10 on that paper where I'm saying that's mine, that's mine. I mean, you know it's not. Why should I do that? You know what I'm saying? And he said, well, ain't nobody gonna see that. You know, that was the whole deal. I should have known better though. But I put my trust in the people that I guess I shouldn't have, you know?
Yeah, sure. Evidently, were there drugs found in your house?
They said, yes, sir. They said the officer said he's found a small piece of rock in the room, my room, and my boot, and a bag that was cut off with some residue in it too. He said that. But when they told me that, I knew for a fact. I didn't know that until after I got to jail and I found out what the charges was. But when he said that, I say something wrong here. I know better. And if my wife wouldn't have come up and told me, I still wouldn't know no better. But she told me. I told her, I said, because she know I am about my parole. She has a from her doctor where she can get marijuana and smoke it for something. I don't know what for, anxiety or something, but I don't let her smoke that around me. I tell her, don't come around me with that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that stuff get in my system.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Let me ask you a question. So have you used drugs since you've been out?
No, sir. I use no drug. I don't
All
drink.
right.
I don't
Oh,
do
wait. Let me finish. As agents surrounded the home, myself and Agent Erdley approached the front door, and after Agent Brock knocked multiple times, the subject answered the door. Identified myself for probation. Pro explained I was seeing him to assist another agent. Subject immediately allowed agents into the home, and I drug screened him, which resulted in positive results for cocaine. The subject denied cocaine use. He was relocated to the living room where he was seated while P&P searched the rest of the house. And marijuana was observed in plain view on the nightstand next to the bed, and Slidell PD was requesting assist with further searching of the residence. The search resulted in the finding of small pieces of suspected crack cocaine, which was also field tested. In addition, a jar of suspected marijuana was found, $1,100, multiple size plastic bags. So you're saying none of that's true?
That's true, sir. This is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, when he tested me for with the piss test, and I went there and peed that. When he said cocaine, I knew instantly right then, sir. I'm not here to tell you no lie. I don't do drugs. I don't drink. None of that. I knew when he said, I said, let me see that. And I looked at the test myself. And I said, where the line at, Mr. Steve? He said, it's right there, the same one, but I don't see it. I said, I don't see it. And he left that test right there at my house. I thought he would have took that with him if it was positive. Because I told my wife said, babe, I see the cup. I seen the cup here. I said, yeah, I know. I do not do drugs, sir. I do not do drugs. I do not hang with. Huh?
Sell them?
No, sir.
So you just
I went to jail. I sold
$1,100 cash in your house.
The money in my drawer, that's the money from my. I told her off. I said that's my rent money right there in the drawer. Just like the money right there in the envelope for my light and my gas money. He sees all that right there.
All right. I just
They would have took that money if they knew it was drugs. I don't give no drugs.
Drugs. Okay, that's all the questions I had. I'm sorry I interrupted.
That's okay. Does your wife wear size 13 work boot?
No, sir. She don't. That's my boot.
And why was cocaine in a bag of cocaine in that work boot?
That's what the police said. And I don't know. My lady told him. She said, "Well, if it is in there, baby, it's because I done put it in there." I have not. I would not lie to you. I do not do drugs. Period. I do not drink. None of that.
Does your wife do drugs?
Sir?
Does your wife do drugs?
Yes, sir. She said she admitted that.
Well, what are you doing staying with her when you got a lifetime parole and you know what she's doing?
I knew she had weed. I never knew. I knew about the weed because I knew about she had the doctor thing for the weed. But sir, I never knew my wife did no drugs. She told me, when she told me, she told me, I didn't know until she came up in court and said that, and told my lawyer that, babe, she had an affidavit say, I'm taking the charge for that because that's mine. I'm not gonna let that man get throw it away for the rest of his life for something that I did. I never knew she did it. I never knew she did it. I knew she smoked weed, and I didn't let her smoke it around me. And she'll tell you the same thing, and I have no reason to lie on her. I've been out there in that world all this time, and I ain't get it. Check my record. I don't get in trouble. I don't even hang around guys. I don't hang around guys like I used to that get into trouble. I don't hang around them kind of people. I stay to myself, sir. I work and I fish and I stay home.
How much time did you do when you were incarcerated? How much time did you do incarcerated?
In Angola, I did like 20 years.
And how long were you out on parole?
I've been out about 5 years.
And you didn't have any problems? You didn't commit any crime?
No, sir.
Did they
I didn't drink when I was in Angola. I didn't do nothing. Only thing I did out here in this world was smoke cigarettes. And I done had 2 heart attacks, and I done quit that. I don't even smoke no more.
Okay, all right. I have no more questions.
Pete, you got any questions?
No.
And
This is a hard one to vote on, because I don't want the state of Louisiana to have to, I don't want the state of Louisiana to have to raise you for the rest of your life, which is what you're looking at. But yet I'm convinced there's a preponderance of credible evidence that you use and distribute cocaine.
No, sir, I didn't.
And I'm certain, well, you pled guilty to the charges, and it was found in your piss test, and it was found in your house. And you're not arguing any of those 3 points except the test. You're saying the test was not accurate. But the other things, it's indisputable evidence that you were around the cocaine, and it was in your boot and in your house, and you pled guilty to it in court.
I didn't.
So
I didn't
how do we
plead
get
guilty
around
to it.
that?
I didn't plead guilty to it, sir. That was an agreement that the judge, I mean the lawyer, my lawyer, and the assistant DA came up with. And when I like I said, when I looked at it, I told him, I said, why would I sign that? Make it make sense to me, because why would I say I did something when I didn't? And I knew I shouldn't have signed that thing, and I knew it, and I know it now. And they came into this jail. That my lawyer, my public defender, and the lawyer that's over him, they came here, sir, and they talked to me about that. They said they had got it straight. They say they redid the agreement where it wasn't where I didn't plead to it, and they said that everything was straight on it. You know what I'm saying? They came here and talked to me right there in the room right there and told me that. That's why I say I never believe them again. Only thing I did is believe that somebody who I was supposed to believe in looked like they just led me astray. I'm not saying that back in the days I didn't do this, but since I've been out, when I was in prison, I worked for the warden. I worked at the front gate where they had the guns on their side, so I didn't get in no trouble, sir. I don't get in no, when I came home, I ain't got in no trouble.
The piece of paper that you signed said that your sentence was deferred. Your 2-year sentence was deferred, correct?
Deferred.
Deferred. In other words, if you don't get in
No
trouble,
problems. Yes, sir. No problems.
but you're guilty of that, but they're gonna put off your sentence to see if you can go 2 years, right?
As if I get it into trouble. See, that's what they told me. See, if you're getting into trouble,
Right.
if I getting into trouble for 2 years,
All right.
man, sir, I am. On everything I love and everything, I am innocent of this here. I am did nothing. I was fooled into signing this here. That's what it was. They supposed to have changed the agreement. I've been back to court for this. They supposed to change that. They ain't did nothing. They didn't fool me again. I've been fooled again behind it, because they said they was going to change it from a plea agreement to agreement. I went back to court for that on the 6th. I went back to court on that, and they did something, and they said they was going to send it to the parole officer and then everybody, but I don't know what's going on here. I'm getting messed up.
I'm gonna ask for an executive session so we can talk about something in just a minute.
All right.
Have a motion for that?
I vote for an executive session.
I second.
Got a motion and a second, no objections to an executive session. It's 12:24. We're gonna go off air for about 2 minutes. We'll be right back and we're gonna take a vote and make our decision known. We're gonna be talking about some procedural matters right now. So it's 12:24. We're in executive session.
Man, them people done screwed me around, bro.
Second to come. Okay, can we have a motion to come back into regular session?
I move to get back.
Got a motion and a second, and since there's no objections, we're back into regular session. The time is 12:27 in the afternoon, still 11:18 of 2025. Okay, we're still handling the case of Mr. Danny Gray, and I think it's time to vote, and this is mine. And Mr. Gray, there's too many, I know it don't sound right, but there's too many unanswered questions here. And because of the things that I've said, my vote is that your parole be revoked. Mr. Tillis?
I concur with Mr. Prater.
I concur. There's just too much smoke here. And, if you know,
Can I ask y'all one more thing, sir?
As to the time is 12:28. I'm sorry to say, but your parole has been revoked and we asked
for
you
violating condition number 4 and number 4.
violate condition number 4. And we hope that you do well.
Oh, I will, sir. I will, sir.
Does your wife
Yep.
wear size 13 boots? The sheriff has a way with saying things, and gosh, this one, it was a rule, and you could tell they're trying, they don't want to send him back. I have a feeling that he's backing life in prison. I wish I can give more context. I searched Danny, I searched Daniel, I search, you search things. I'm not going to bring Sir Richard out of retirement. As you know, Lady Holly, I don't believe is any longer with us in the world. So I don't have people doing that deep dive research to see if we could find some type of appeal or something that could even give more context on his initial crime. But he will be able to reapply for parole. I don't know when. I think at least 5 years. And gosh, can you imagine in this case when your life's on the line, you got to get just a few dollars together to get an attorney to show up and try to help you here because you the moment he signs a 2-year deferred with prosecution, and this is a big problem. I don't know if his attorney didn't, wasn't honest with him and said, hey, just take this plea. You can't take the plea deal. The truth is you just can't. And we see it all the time because we see it all the time where attorneys say, oh, let's just take a plea deal. Let's plead it down to a misdemeanor. Let's do a deferred sentence, a suspended sentence, et cetera, et cetera. But you can't do that when your client is backing life and that parole board can revoke you on it. Now, even if they drop the charges altogether, they still have the power to revoke. And maybe they're just between a rock and a hard place and they had no choice and they just threw a Hail Mary and would hope for the best. But I don't know, man. When you look at the hard facts, you look at the info, they found all these narcotics there. And he doesn't even have his girl showing up speaking on his behalf. Who knows why? Not that it would have made a difference. I don't think they wanted to revoke him because of how much time he was back in. And I guess he's been, if you think about it, in Connecticut, where we cover these revocation hearings, it would have been a sanction. That's all it would have been. They would have said, okay, you'll get sanctioned for X number of months and you get out. Also, Connecticut would provide him with a free attorney. The attorneys do well. They have to go by like strict documentations, and he probably would have had time served and gotten out. They would have said, look, I mean, he's been out in the community after being locked up for 20 years. He got married, he's paying rent, he's never had a problem, not behind any fees, he's no trouble, this was deferred, da da da. An attorney would put up a fight and say, look, it's why put him back in prison on Louisiana taxpayer dollars. Like, really, they would have said, look, it's a narcotic issue, let's send him away to a program. He hasn't. And Louisiana, no, they don't mess around. They just say nope. They just say no, no, no. And what system is better? Look, they each have their flaws. The problem with Connecticut, also Utah and Iowa, is that you'll see people. I don't even. They're hard to show. I'm getting a lot more now that I can show you guys. I'm seeing people now that are coming up 3, 4, 5 revocations. It's just absurd. It's really ridiculous. They get revoked, they give us a small sanction, and we see them back, and then we see them back, and then we see them back. And that's just a dumb system. That clearly is not working, and it's incredibly expensive where they have the preliminary hearing with a state paid for attorney, then the final hearing, and then there's even rescission hearings. It's just ridiculous. But this feels a little bit much too. I don't know. And without context of what he's in for, it's hard to also gauge it. But anyways, we saw a whole bunch of hearings today, all different types. We even had the mini violin. Let me know how you feel about that. I try to not overdo it, but sometimes I can't help myself anymore. Thank you, Annan, for the notes on these hearings. It's a huge help as always. And with that, I'll let you go.
And on that day, I refused because and I had the arm bracelet on and everything. I come from the hospital, I was burning. I had chlamydia, sir. I couldn't pee. On that specific day that y'all got on there, because there's only 2 times that I failed or had to refuse. I only failed a drug test 1 time on parole. And the other one I had to refuse because I had chlamydia. She even laughed and made a joke about it. Me and my probation officer, Ms. Cooper, actually laughed and made a joke about me having chlamydia before I left. She knew that.
So you couldn't pee because you had this STI, this sex disease.
Yeah, it was
So you could, just that one time.
Yes, sir. It should be on paper. Like since I've been on probation, I only failed one drug screen and I refused one. 2 years.
Let's do I'd like a motion for executive session.
I move that we go into executive session.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to go into executive session. We're gonna talk about some procedural matters for just a minute. We'll be right back. The time is